Today I have some rock and roll, some rockabilly, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to be looking at Cliff Gallup's playing in the classic Gene Vincent track Be-Bop-A-Lula. And looking around online, I was quite surprised to find that there's not actually that much out there already in the way of detailed lessons on this song, so I thought I'd have a go myself, and I'm going to begin by playing through the entire track. And as you will hear, I'm trying to play the two solos in this track more or less note for note. In the rest of the song, I'm kind of doing my own thing to some extent, so let's go. There we are. This track was from 1956. I'm sure it's a very familiar one to most of you. And if you've watched my channel before, you'll know that I'm a big fan of Cliff Gallup, who was Gene Vincent's guitar player for all those great early recordings. I think I've done 2 or 3 other Cliff Gallup lessons. I've certainly looked at the track Race with the Devil before. And if you're at all interested in learning about rock and roll or rockabilly guitar, I think the solos from this track, Be-Bop-A-Lula, are absolute must-know solos. And even if you're not interested in those styles of music, I think they're just part of the DNA and the language of the electric guitar. So I strongly recommend having a go at learning one or other of these solos. So let's get started. I'm going to take you through those 2 solos and some of the rhythm parts as well in glorious, nerdy detail. I want the main focus of this lesson to be on the 2 solos, but I'm just going to talk a bit about the rhythm guitar as well. So we're in the key of E. For the most part, it's a 12-bar blues in E. We've actually got 2 sections. One of them is a straight 12-bar blues. Then we've got that kind of stop time verse where you're stretching out the 12-bar structure slightly. You're spending a bit longer on the 1 chord, and then once you go to the 4 chord, it's a standard 12-bar blues. So what I was doing on my backing track was just bashing out the 1, 4, 5 with some quite simple open position chords. So I was just playing an E. Sometimes I was just embellishing that slightly. You can use your little finger to create an E6 or an E7 sound. And then changing to the 4 chord is just an A. Then back to the 1. And then the 5 chord is going to be B, or you can play a B7. And 4 and back to the 1. So that's the basic strummed rhythm guitar part. I think that's played by an acoustic guitar on the original recording. Now, as for the Cliff Gallup rhythm part, he's actually playing very minimally when Gene Vincent is singing, and one of the problems is it's actually very hard to hear exactly what he's doing. The guitar is mixed very low, and it's almost impossible to tell in some cases what notes he's playing. I think if I had my way, I'd remix the track and I'd make the guitar much louder in the verses, because I'm sure there's some really great stuff happening there. But as it stands, I was kind of doing this my own way, but I was trying to get a few of the signature licks in there that you can hear Cliff Gallup playing. So in the first verse you can hear this kind of idea quite a lot. It's just a little hammer on from the flat 5 to the 5 of the E chord, and then an E, and then an open low E. Be-Bop-A-Lula, she's my babe. Then open A to take us to the 4 chord. You can hear that taking you back to the 1. It's the same lick, just moved across to the next pair of strings. And then you can also hear the same lick played on the 5 chord. So F to F sharp and then B. So that's kind of a nice part to get in there during the first verse. For the stop time sections, I was just playing some really just some E notes, sliding up to a E at the 12th fret on the low E string, and then an open low E string. And you can play some chord hits there as well. So maybe an E9, or this version of an E9 up here. This is on the D string. It's 12, 11, 12, 12. And that works well for the stop time section. Then for the rest of the rhythm guitar stuff, I was just doing the kind of standard rockabilly rhythm type thing, like this. And I've actually done a whole video where I go into this style of playing in some detail, but what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of keeping a steady bass note going on whatever chord you're playing. So if I'm playing on the 4 chord, I'm just keeping that bass note going. I like to play the A chord with my thumb over the top. You could just do this as a regular bar chord. So I've got the bass note, and then I'm holding down the triad, and I'm just creating these little melodies by moving my little finger around. So you've got just an A, A6, A7 like that. You can move your little finger onto the top string. You got the 9th, you got the flat 3rd, and you can just kind of improvise around with those kind of notes as long as you keep that steady bass note going. And then for the 1 chord you can play down in the open position, or you could play up at the 12th fret. And then for the 5 chord it's B7, 4, so those are just a few ideas that will work for the rhythm parts of this song. Let's talk about this first solo then. And last week I was talking about strong openings, and this solo is a great example of a really strong opening, and Cliff Gallup just goes straight in with a really intense barrage of notes. We've got this so it's a really great opening lick, this one. And a lot of this solo is played in and around the 12th position, and you can think about your E minor pentatonic scale, but he's very often embellishing and adding in some extra notes to that scale. So in particular he's adding in an F sharp, which is the 9th, and also he's playing the C sharp a lot, and this is the 6th, which is a very rock and roll sounding note, and it's a good addition to that basic minor pentatonic scale. And then we've got some of this minor and major third stuff happening as well. So you've got the G note, which is the flat 3rd, that's found within the minor pentatonic scale, You can add this note as well, the G sharp, that's the major third, which works nicely as well. The opening lick is just based on this kind of motif, just G, E, F sharp, E, and repeating that. And it's a 4-note motif, but we're playing it in a triplet rhythm, which creates this interesting effect. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And we're coming out of that, just going down this little rockabilly scale shape, really. Again, all triplets, 3, 4. So that's the first phrase. Then the next couple of bars. So we've got a little bend here. This is an F sharp. It's a semitone bend. There's a lot of this happening in this solo as well. So it's an F sharp bending up to a G. And then descending. And then we've got some double or triple stops on the top 2 or 3 strings. And then the next phrase we continue with these double and triple stops. So it's just 12th fret and 14th fret there. And then we've got this. This is one of my favourite licks in the solo. I think it's all based on these semitone bends. So we've got the F sharp. And then the same thing on the B string. And then the F sharp down at the 11th fret on the G. It's the same thing, an octave lower. So and then we've got this. So another fantastic lick, this one. We're bending the C sharp this time. And then some more double and triple stops. We've got this, C sharp and G, and then 14th fret, triple stop, 12th fret. I'm just hammering down on the G sharp. It's that minor to major third sound. So adding in that C sharp again to give you that 6th sound. So and then to finish off the solo, it's a little bit hard to hear what's happening here because it's not mixed particularly loud, but we've got. So it's that kind of D, B, C sharp, B kind of a sound. Let me play the whole solo for you slowly and in time. We've got 1, 2, 3. So we have not one but 2 great guitar solos in this track. So let's look at the second guitar solo. And incidentally, if I'm going too fast for some of you or you're missing some of the details, please do rewatch the video. You can slow it down within YouTube, and I'm also going to be writing all of this out in a detailed tab. Second solo then, it kicks off with this lick. You get really strong opening once again to this solo. And I've chosen to play this down at the 5th fret. You could play it up in the 12th position, up to you. It sounds to me on balance as if it's played down around the 5th fret. So I'm starting with this B, coming in on beat 2 here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1. And then we're playing that B again, and you can hear some whammy bar stuff going on here. So there's a little dip on the whammy bar. And you got G to E. And then for the next phrase, we're coming back up to the 12th fret, the 12th position, and we've got this idea. So it's quite straightforward, just a double stop on the top 2 strings and a little B to C sharp hammer on. 1. Again, this phrase coming in on beat 2, 2, 3, 4, 1. And we're changing to the 4 chord here, and I'm playing in and around this A9 chord shape. Even though you're not hearing all of the notes in this chord, it makes sense and it sounds good to hold the whole chord shape down. So I'm starting on the A string, it's 12, 11, then 12, 12, 12, and I'm keeping a bass note going on the 5th string. And then on the higher strings, I'm using some hybrid picking here, and something like this. This is a point in the solo where it's quite hard to hear exactly what's going on, so I might have just filled in a few gaps here with my own thing, but it's. And then we're back to the single note licks. Another fantastic lick here. We've got that C sharp G double stop. You can hear some whammy vibrato on that. And then double stops at the 14th and 12th frets. Coming down to this, a G sharp and a C sharp, which is that kind of E6 sound again. And then I'm playing an E triad and adding in that C sharp once again. So and then we've got this. So that's just B and C sharp, another one of these semitone bends. And then this. So more double stops on the top 2 strings. And then the final lick of the solo. So this is another double stop. This time it's a G sharp and a B. It's got the major 3rd and the 5th. And we're just moving that down 1 fret and then back up again. It's a kind of chromatic lead into the chord tones. And ending on an E major triad. The complete second solo then slowly and in time. 2, 3, 4. Rockabilly on a Jazz Master? What am I thinking? Well, of course I'd like to have a lovely Gretsch Duo Jet, which is the guitar that Cliff Gallup was known for using, and Gretsch is obviously the go-to rock and roll guitar. Maybe I will get one day, but at the moment, sadly, I don't have one of those. But the serious point is, just because you don't have a rock and roll style guitar doesn't mean you can't play rock and roll. I think you can get these kind of sounds with just about any guitar. So today I've gone for my Jazz Master. I wanted a guitar with a whammy bar because in both of these solos there's a little bit of whammy bar stuff going on. I initially tried a Strat, but that was just a little bit too bright. This guitar was a little bit warmer, got a bit more mid-range, so this was working for me. I liked how it was sounding today. The amp I'm using is my Fender Deluxe Reverb. I'm going into the normal channel, running it at a kind of moderately loud volume. It's on about 3. Got the bass on 5, treble on 5, a little bit of spring reverb. And pedal wise, I'm using my J Rocket Archer just for a mild bit of overdrive. And for Rockabilly, obviously you need that slap back echo. So for that, I'm using my Catlin Bred Belle Epoque Deluxe. And I know I've been using that pedal quite a lot lately. I don't want to sound like an advert for Catlin Bred. I bought that pedal with my own money and I'm using it because it sounds really good, and I'll say that for nothing. So as far as getting that Rockabilly slap back sound, you can get that sound with any delay pedal, and you just need to get the delay time correct. And I've got it about like this. You can hear it's da-da. I don't know what that is in milliseconds, 10 milliseconds, something like that, but I'm just judging that by ear. And the other important thing is you just want one repeat, so you don't want any feedback. And then you just have to judge how loud you want that echo. And I've actually got it fairly loud here. You want that echo to become a part of the sound. That's it. I hope you enjoy learning to play this track, and you don't even need to learn to play the whole track, but I do urge you just to have a go at maybe learning one of these solos, and I promise it will do really good things for your playing. My tab, my backing track, up on the Patreon page, and many thanks to all my Patreons, patrons, whatever you call yourselves. Thank you to you. It really has made it much easier for me to be consistent in making these videos, so your support is much appreciated. Thanks to everyone for watching. I shall see you next time.